All right, welcome back to another reaction video. All right, we're going to watch this idiot talk about this. This is a terrible situation, but this guy here, look at him. He's just so happy that the police killed a black person. This guy is mentally ill, bro. I'm not even going to lie. But anyway, but just look at him. You can just see already he's super happy that this happened because now he can say, look, the police are so bad. But anyway, here we go.
The Tyre Nichols story is a sad one, but unfortunately an all too common one. The uncommon part about it is that
okay, he says it's all too common. Well, that's not true at all. You being killed by the police, not resisting. If you're not resisting, not running, not doing any of that, the chances of you being killed, shot by the police is literally zero. For real, just go look at the numbers. It's zero. By the way, this guy, Tyre Nichols, he was resisting from the very beginning. Okay? But the police took it way too far, and they should be in jail. And they are in jail, by the way.
that all 5 officers that were a part of Tyre Nichols' murder, brutal murder, were subsequently fired and now are charged with murder and kidnapping. That is the uncommon part of this.
That is not uncommon, by the way. If you just look up police officer arrested for abuse, you'll see thousands of articles where the police chief prosecutes his own police officers for abusing people all the time. This is not uncommon, by the way. This is actually more common than you being beat by the police. Just throwing it out there. Just look up the numbers. You'll see yourself.
All too common story. I have not seen the video, but I assume it has to be devastating for Memphis, to the Memphis Police Department to act so quickly. News Channel 5 has obtained a letter sent by the Tennessee Sheriff's Association to the National Sheriff's Association notifying law enforcement agencies that videos relating to the arrest of Tyre Nichols will be made public on Friday. Cities are gearing up for riots, as a matter.
Right. And it was bad. It was terrible. When you watched the video, it was terrible. Those police officers went way across the line. They should have not did what they did. And they deserve to be in prison. And they will be in prison. And guess what? Those prisoners are going to treat them very nicely when they get into prison, right? Going to treat you very nice, right? But it's not going to be very nice for them. They're going to have a hard time. This is just a terrible story, but this is not commonplace in America. It's not. I don't care how many times they tell you, oh, if you're black, you're going to be beat up by the police. Absolutely not true. I think on average, the police shoot, I think it's 12 unarmed black people a year. 12. Now, unarmed does not mean not dangerous. Remember that. Just because you're unarmed does not mean you're not a dangerous person. And it doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be shot. You could be wrestling for the police officer's gun, unarmed, and he shoots you, right? So, you have to look at it. Incidents like this are extremely rare, especially against black people. I mean, you just go look at the numbers. But anyway, let's keep going.
Matter of fact, because of how fucking awful this story is.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Nora O'Donnell. We are coming on the air as the city of Memphis and the country is on edge after the violent arrest that led to the death of 29-year-old Tyre Nichols. Just today, the 5 now former Memphis officers involved were charged with second-degree murder, kidnapping, and other charges.
We're grateful.
And they should have been, by the way,
to the family of Tyre Nichols for their patience as we expedited both the investigation and the consideration of charges in this case, as well as the understanding on the part of the family that premature release of the video could compromise both.
They wanted the video has to be so fucking damning, which is not surprising because many videos are damning.
Not true. Not true. He's referring to things like Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, all these other people who were clearly resistant. He's talking about all the Black Lives Matter cases, right? Where they were clearly resistant, pulling guns on police officers, being extremely violent, not cooperating with the police, extensive criminal history, in some cases, child predators, child molesters that were some of these people. But anyway, here we go.
Most police interactions that end up with the death of a suspect, of a victim,
Not true. I mean, this is just not true. He's calling some of these people victims. You know, Trayvon Martin was not a victim. George Floyd was not a victim. Now, the police officer did wrong in in the Floyd case. He stayed on his neck too long, but the police officer did not kill Floyd. That is a fact. It's came out in court. I mean, he was high on drugs. He even admits in the video he swallowed a lot of drugs. So, I mean, but that police officer involved in the Floyd case, he should be in prison where he's at, by the way.
Is usually very damning, but this one has to be additionally worse, partially because they used bludgeoning objects and tasers and shit, less than lethal weapons, rather than just like immediately mag dumping in.
No. See, this is where he's just speaking out of his ass. He needs to go watch the video, man. They're not in jail because they tasered him or hit him with a nightstick. That's totally common practice when people are resisting arrest, which he was, by the way. They were kicking him in the face, saying, we're going to break your arms. We're going to kill you. I mean, they were saying that. And talking about how they was going to slam him on his head. And, I mean, they repeatedly, at one point in time, they were holding the man up. They were holding Mr. Nichols up. One officer was holding his arms, and the other officer was just punching him in the face over and over again. That's why they got charged. If they would have just tased him and put him on the ground and put the handcuffs on him and hit him a couple of times and he died, none of them would have been charged. It would have been seen as standard, procedure. But they could have put this man in handcuffs a long time ago. There was 5 big, huge police officers on this one little man, right? They could have put him in handcuffs. But it was almost like they wanted him to get up so they could just keep beating him. This was a really strange case, but him saying this stuff no. They're not in jail because they tasered him. They're not in jail because they used the nightstick. They're in jail because they absolutely abused this man. I mean, kicked him in the face, punched him. It was terrible. It was horrifying.
To him, so much so that, and apparently it's an hour long, which I don't even know what the fuck they did, and I don't even want to think about it.
See, I don't even know what they did, but let me talk about it.
They immediately fired these guys. It's 5 black cops in Memphis stopping Tyre Nichols on a regular traffic violation and brutalizing him so much that he died.
Nope, it was not a regular traffic violation. He was driving recklessly in oncoming traffic. He was swerving around cars. He was driving erratically. He was driving crazy. This wasn't a routine stop. It was, I guess it was a routine stop, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm just pulling you over just to pull you over. He was driving erratically. It's on video. You can see it.
3 days later, he's hospitalized and he dies.
And he was running from the cops. He saw the police and he kept going. And then he got to a stoplight and he stopped and they pulled him out of the car and the rest of it happened.
3 days later in the hospital, he was beaten to death. Family said that the family that has seen the footage said that it was worse than Emmett Till, as he was calling for his mother, asking what did he do. Yeah, supposedly they beat him like a piñata, according to the family.
And that's true. They beat him bad. It was terrible, man. It was horrifying. If you go watch this, the video's public from many different angles. It's terrifying. It's bad. It's really, really, really bad. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen, especially from police officers. There's no excuses for these police officers. They need to, my opinion, death sentence. They all need the death sentence. But it was brutal murder on the streets. But you can't listen to this guy here. He has no clue what he's talking about at all, at all.
And the video will be coming out, of course, at the end of the news week on Friday night. They say that he was left unrecognizable in the aftermath of this. None of us have seen the video yet, but if there's one thing I know in all of my years of covering police brutality, covering the news in the United States of America, it's that cops rarely ever see accountability.
Lies, not true. Cops are held accountable more than me and you guys, just so you know. When they commit a crime, they go to jail. It's just a fact. And is there some cases where police get away with stuff they shouldn't get away with? Sure, absolutely. But most of the time, they're going to jail, man. Cops don't, there's a reason why when you get pulled over by most cops, that they're nice to you, they're polite with you, because they know they're being recorded. That's why they have body cameras. That's why they have microphones. because they're being held accountable at every word they say, every turn, everything, and they know it. Now, you have some cops who are just straight up assholes. They come out there, they act crazy because they know, they're good. They're not really too worried about it. But most cops are on their P's and Q's when you talk to them.
Chauvin was a unique case specifically because of the.
He was not a unique case. Just go look. There's so many police officers that go to jail for violating constitutional rights, just pulling you over when they're not supposed to pull you over, making you exit the car when they have no probable cause. The police go to jail for this all the time. This guy is just anti-police. I'm not the most pro-police person in the world, but you have to live in reality too. This guy's going to tell you that if you're black, you are in danger every time a cop pulls you over. If you look at the stats, that is nowhere near the truth. It's not even close to being the truth.
Accountability, right? Broad daylight execution, and
never happens. Broad daylight execution, that never happens. I challenge him to show me one video where it's broad daylight, just straight up execution. Besides this one, that happened. He's right about that. Now, they just straight up beat this man to death. This is pretty much an execution in the street. But this is one out of hundreds of millions of encounters. No joke. I mean, you being treated like this by the police is extremely unlikely. I mean, we're talking 0%.
And the subsequent legal accountability that came. Cops usually just go on paid administrative leave.
Not true.
Desk duty, yada, yada.
Not true. You think they put cops on desk duty after they beat you in the streets? He's talking about, they just murder you in broad daylight, and then they just put them on desk duty. They put them on desk duty. I mean, this guy's living in an alternate reality, bro. He's not living in reality. But this is the liberal mindset right here. This is how every liberal thinks, because this is what the media tells them to think. They don't think for themselves. They don't actually go look at the numbers.
When murder is seen as a part of their job.
Of course, that's not true. There is not one police officer in this country that says murder is a part of my job. And it's not even in, come on, man. I mean, do I have to explain this to you?
The entire system is designed to protect them when they.
Not true. Actually, the system is designed to hold them accountable. That's why they have body cameras, microphones, cameras in the car, everything, FOIA requests, public documents. Everything is meant to hold them accountable.
They do engage in escalation, and they do it often. They do it frequently.
Not true.
You rarely ever see cops. I've never seen cops get fired this fast.
I mean, maybe not this fast, but usually they get. But of course, none of the cases are as bad as this one. Like, this one is a rare instance. That's why you never see cops. I mean, like, he's making a case for how rare it is, but telling you how common it is at the same time. But he doesn't understand that. He's too stupid.
Never. In the past decade of covering news, police brutality, I've never seen cops ever get fired.
Because you've never seen cops do this.
5 of the cops involved get fired before the body camera footage is released. A week before they release the body camera footage, they don't even hold up the body camera footage. Usually they, the routine process, the modus operandi here is never releasing the body camera footage, never even showing it to the family.
That is not true. When have you ever seen any of these incidents go down and they don't show you the body camera footage? Just a few minutes ago, he was saying how every one of the body, he was just saying how when you watch the body camera footage from the other people, that it was murder in broad daylight. Now he's saying you don't get to see the body camera footage. Like I said, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's running around in a circle. He has no clue what he's talking about.
Claiming that it's gone, claiming that it's lost in the sauce.
Never. Show me one case of any of these so-called brutality cases where they say, we don't have the body camera footage. Sorry, it's lost in the sauce, guys. Never happens.
It's like we're in fucking bizarro world. Like
you are in bizarro world, bro. You are in bizarro world. You're living in a world where nothing you say is real. You're living, I'm telling you, in a alternate universe somewhere.
They're showing the officers as the perps They're perp walking the
Yeah, they do that all the time. I'm not surprised by this at all. I mean, I totally expect this.
officers, and they're showing footage of the victim of the police brutality, like skateboarding and shit, talking about him as actually a victim. It is so sad that this is what is supposed to happen, okay, in a just world, in a normal.
Anytime you watch any of these police brutality cases, the news makes the people out to be like these little sweet little angels. I mean, I haven't seen one yet where they come on and go, this guy was a thug, he deserved it, right? Like it never. They always say he was a good guy, he was going to school, he was doing this and that. Look at Michael Brown. They talking about how he was a big, huggable, lovable teddy bear. That dude was a violent criminal, tried to take the police officer's gun, punched a police officer in the face multiple times. Then he got shot after he strong-armed, robbed a store, by the way, went in and robbed a store by force for some cigarillos, by the way, cigars, stupid idiot. But anyway, and then the police come by and said, hey, get out of the road. He said, F you, tried to fight with the cops, tried to take his gun, got shot, then he died. But the police didn't, the media didn't say that. They did exactly what he says they don't do, is they brought him out and said, oh, look at Michael Brown. He was such a nice guy. He was so good. He was so great. He was just walking down the road being a good boy. Totally not the truth. This guy, I mean, he's just lying. And the people in the chat saying because they are black. No, it's because they beat this man to death. They're holding him accountable. I mean, that's what they do.
Normal world.
Nothing is ever good enough. If they hold them accountable, it's not good enough. If they don't hold them accountable, it's not good enough. There's no winning with these people, bro.
In a world where, like, there is real justice, this is how it's supposed to happen. Do I, like, the fact that they're showing the cops out of uniform with their mugshots, I don't know if it's because they're black, okay, because I'm sure.
No, it's because they killed Tyre Nichols. Has nothing to do with them being black at all. Like, dude, if these were Mexican police officers, they would be in prison right now. It has nothing to do with them being black. They killed this man in the streets, and I mean, there's no winning with these people, bro. There's no winning with these radical liberals. None at all.
That plays a role into it. Like, it has to, even though being black does not.
Oh, it has to. It has to be part of it. What? Like, they killed this man. Being black, man, I'm telling you, these people are mentally ill. Like, you cannot talk to these type of people like this guy here.
Make you a better cop. You are still a police officer. A fact that I mention so regularly. I hope people understand this.
Nobody understands you, bro. Like, because you're not making any sense. I mean, I don't see why I even have to explain this to anybody who has a brain in their head. These officers being black has nothing to do with nothing. It has literally nothing to do with anything.
When I say this, but it is wild that they're not showing them in police garb. Like, this is the system giving them up. The system that normally the police unions that would normally the sheriff's associations, the police unions that would normally defend these people down to the fucking core because their actions are seen as justifiable and expected by.
Yeah, because usually they are justifiable and expected. I mean, when you go back and look at some of these cases, I mean, they are justifiable, man. I mean, you know, like what was that case in Atlanta? I watched a video from this guy, the same guy here, about that guy that was in the Wendy's parking lot where they burnt the Wendy's down. And they said, oh, he was trying to run away from the cops and they shot him. But what they didn't tell you is that the guy had fought the police for 2 minutes straight and body slammed one on his head, punched another one in the face, stole his taser, and was about to turn the taser on the police officer, and then he shot him. Yeah, that was justifiable and expected to happen. I mean, did you not expect that to happen? Because I 100% expected that to happen.
By the police, which has the monopoly of violence, which exercises the state's monopoly of violence, and
I mean, this is nonsense.
Every interaction, immediately drop them.
Here are the charges.
Yeah, they dropped him because of second-degree murder, aggravated assault in concert, aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, official oppression. That's why they dropped them, not because they're black.
Second-degree murder,
I've never seen
aggravated
this.
assault,
Of course, this is a lie. He's never seen it because he's never looked it up.
aggravated kidnapping resulting in bodily injury, aggravated kidnapping involving the possession of a weapon, official misconduct through unauthorized exercise of power, official misconduct through failure to act when there is a duty imposed by law.
Oh, there was more. Oh, I forgot. The other part of it is like the DOJ and FBI literally immediately opened up a civil rights investigation, which does happen. Okay, the DOJ does do this, and they do.
He talks himself in circles. He at 1 minute he says, "Oh, they don't do anything about it. They just let it. Oh, they just worship the police that kill other people, and they exercise the monopoly of violence for the state and all this." And then he turns right back around and says, "Well, they do investigate, civil rights violations, and
Find like rampant racism every single time. Surprise.
Not true. That's just your interpretation of it, and they have never come out and said that it was rampant racism. Never.
In every single department that they've.
Not every single department. See, this is just. I mean, I don't know how anybody could take this seriously. Even if you're, pro Black Lives Matter or pro, or if you're even anti-police. When you hear people say stuff like this, you have to think for yourself, man. All right? Because this guy is just telling you a bunch of baloney. I mean, I've heard a lot of bullshit, but this guy he's full of it, dude. And like I said, I'm not even pro-police, really. I think we should cut back on the police a lot. I think we have a lot of police officers just sitting out in the streets doing nothing. I see them every day where they're just wasting tax money. No crime going on, nothing. They're just there just to harass you. I mean, that's literally their job. I see it every day in my city. There's police officers here. They're so fat and so out of shape that you could just run from them forever. They'll never catch you. Never. And that's like every police officer in my town. They're just a waste of time, a waste of money. They're literally not needed. So I'm not even like super pro police. I'm more pro Second Amendment, protecting yourself, protecting your own property, and, the police come later or whatever. But this guy's, look, if you're anti-police, you just have to listen to this guy and just know it's bullshit. All of it.
Ever investigated from Baltimore to Ferguson, right?
Again, the guy in Baltimore that he's talking about is the guy who was running from the police, had drugs. He was a drug dealer, multiple time felon. He was resisting arrest. He was fighting, punching cops, had a gun. So he's not even telling you the whole story. He's just saying in Baltimore, Ferguson. Again, going back to Mike Brown, who was a straight up convict. He had just robbed a store, by the way. Just go look it up.
And of course, no changes come from that. Clearly,
there shouldn't be no changes for police arresting criminals. Mike Brown was a criminal. He went to the store, robbed the store, came back, was illegally impeding traffic. The police gave him a chance. They walked up and said, the police officer drove up and said, "Hey, guy, get out of the streets." Called him by name. This is how known Michael Brown was in the system. He called him by name. He said, "Mike Brown, get out of the streets." Okay, when the police know you by name like that, you know you've been in trouble a lot. All right. They said, "Get out of the streets." What did he say to him? F you, was shooting them birds. It's all on video. You can go watch it. He was saying, "F you, shooting them birds." The police came back around. He punched a cop in the face, tried to take his gun. This man is not telling you that. He's just saying, "Oh, he was innocent. It was extreme racism and all this." How is that racist when he was punching the dude in the face, trying to take the cop's gun? And that whole narrative of hands up, don't shoot, never happened. That was all a lie. It was all a lie. None of it never happened.
Clearly, obviously. And our legislators refuse to do anything about it.
Not true. We have so many laws against police officers abusing your rights. Just you name it. there's a law for everything that the police do. Everything.
Obviously. So we shall see what happens in the aftermath of this. But if
They're going to prison. They're all going to be there's no question what's going to happen. Every one of these boys, men, whatever you want to call them, in this Tyre Nichols case is going to prison. Period. They're all going to jail for life, forever. They're never getting out. It's over with. They ruined their life. All right, we're not even going to listen to this idiot no more. If you like this video, make sure you hit like and subscribe, all right? Make sure you share it with some people. Tell them about this. You know, we're going to react to a lot of stuff, not just stuff like this. But this guy's an idiot. So I'm going to do a lot of his videos just because he's easy to debunk. You know, there's not a whole lot going on with this guy. His brain doesn't think, you know, very well. It doesn't function well. All right. See you guys later.